actress who really has arrived on the Hollywood scene. Got a big movie opening tonight with Sean Connery. She's come a long way since the darling buds of May. Will you welcome Catherine Zeta-Jones? Can't imagine you having cold hands.
I've always got warm hearts, Edith.
Oh, yeah, what is it? I love that little Welsh accent came in then. Well,
I've never lost it. Don't intend to either.
It's been 6 years since you were sitting in this studio telling me, I'm going to Hollywood, Des, and I'm going to give it a go, and I'm going to try and make it big. Well, you certainly done that.
I can't believe it's 6 years, you see. Because when I spoke to your team, they said, oh, we have some, VT tape of you 6 years ago. I said, no way is it 6 years ago. But it is.
Yeah. Was it, I mean, you said, I'm gonna do it, and you've certainly done that. Was it an easy journey? Was it tough,
Well, I think, the kind of preconception of it was that, oh, she went to America and did it, But in fact, there were many times through the early weeks that I thought, what am I doing here? Lining up with everybody else who, turns up in Hollywood. And the fact is that it was always something that I wanted to give it a go. I never want to look back in 30 years' time and say to myself, maybe if I'd given it a chance, maybe my life would have been different, or maybe I would have been satisfied, or maybe I wouldn't have been, but I would never have known if I hadn't tried. So I gave it a go.
It took courage, because at that time, yeah, you were known here, Darling Buds, and you got a record going, all that, but you weren't that known in America, were you? I mean,
no, I was completely anonymous.
So did you have to get in the queue with other people? I mean, what did you...
Well, I used to have to drive to meetings, casting meetings, and turn up, and they'd ask me what I'd done, and it was humbling for me because I really went, if you can believe it, I went to Hollywood to be anonymous, I think somewhere along the line everyone forgot that I was an actor or a performer or had been in theatre, and that was one of the reasons that, took me on the plane.
Did you never feel like giving it up?
No.
You thought, I mean, you must have had a few kicks in the teeth and disappointments, but you...
Oh, yeah. But that's life, that happens to everybody in every walk of life and every job, and especially in this game. I mean, I've been in it for so long that, the word rejection is something that's kind of part of my vocabulary. You get used to that. But it makes, when I get a phone call from Steven Spielberg, it makes all those kind of thoughts...
Was that Zorro?
That was for Zorro. That was the turning point for me in America, was when Steven saw me on TV in a TV series and, told me about this project that he was producing called Zorro, the Mask of Zorro.
Did you know when you were going into that, you're going to have to do all the fencing and all that stuff?
Do you know what? I read the script and I knew, but nobody ever asked me if I could do it. I mean...
Well, they probably thought they could use doubles in this...
I know, but in that particular scene with Banderas, there was no way they could use doubles because, that was the whole scene, the nuances and the sexiness and the camaraderie that went on between me and Antonio.
What about that?
Scene.
Is that right, that Melanie Griffiths kept coming down to the set to just watch all the scenes?
Melanie was, down on the set, yes, and I would have been. She just given birth to Stella, so... Melanie and I are friends, and she always gets such a hard time.
They give her a hard time, don't they?
They give her such a hard time, and the reality is that she's in love and very happy, and I think that in the back of our minds, what we read is like always a little bitter twist going on. They can't be really happy. They can't be really in love, and unfortunately she gets a hard deal, but she's a sweetheart.
This movie, the new one, Entrapment, which opens tonight, which I've seen this week, and I'm not embarrassed to say you were great in that. I think a lot of people are going to look at you and say, hey, she's a good actress, this lady. She really can do it. What about Sean Connery? How'd you get on with Sean? Because I know Sean ever. He's lovely.
Yeah, and basically when people see the movie, it's just me and Sean. That's the central characters. And I've worked every day for 4 months, and to work those hours with such, a legend, a living legend as Sean, and to be able to not just know him as an actor, but become a great friend of his. And
some people have commented on the age difference between you and Sean. Did that bother you at all?
No, not at all.
When you look at it on the screen, you never think about it.
No, because the script was always about that, you know. It was about this younger woman with this mature man. You know, it was never like put into, you know, stuffed down the audience's throat. And it's me, my character actually instigates the whole thing, you know. So it's not, it's a very interesting situation, and it's a chemistry that happens regardless of the age, you know.
When I was a teenager, I was madly in love with Hedy Lamarr. And you remind me, have you got that kind of, I hope you take this a nice way, that classic film star 50s look? That I don't know.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take that as a compliment. I've got a picture of Hedy Lamarr.
I've got to ask you, these pictures that we've seen in the paper, you and Mr. Douglas, is this the beginning of a new romance?
I'm not talking about my private life, darling.
All right, fair enough. I tell you something.
Well, it's hard, you know, Des, because there's so much that, you know, you don't go on holiday and, you know, pose for photographs, you know. I don't. This is the first holiday I've had in over 3 years. And I think the last holiday then was like just being at home with my family for a week. And then, so, you know, it's a voyeuristic kind of, you know, thing. And at some point in your life, you know, you go, okay, I do this, I go around, I tour, I promote my films, I talk, I do magazines, I try and be as, you know, candid as possible in situations. And there's a part of it you go, no, enough, you know, and I've kind of been like so many people, and probably yourself included, been a victim to kind of scrutiny.
I've been a victim.
You are?
I was in Barbados, standing on the beach. It's absolutely true.
Didn't you have a thong on?
Well, it was sort of
I think
like
I
that.
saw that photo. What were you doing in Barbados, and did your wife know?
Yes.
Oh, she
well,
was
I wasn't
with you.
married then, so that was all right.
It gets more interesting by the minute.
No, I was with Jodie. We were in Barbados, and I don't know where she was, but I felt an itch around my derriere. So I don't want to scratch in front of the whole beach. So I turned my derriere to the sea, thinking I'm safe. I've got a little itch just below the plimsoll line. I shall scratch and it won't matter. They've got deep-sea divers with underwater cameras. There was all sorts of disasters going on in the world, and they're taking a picture of my bum, for God's sake. So,
I know.
Did you know those pictures? I mean, I assume
No.
you'd have been much more careful about what was going on.
No, I mean, unfortunately, you have to buy your privacies these days. And if you're on a yacht in the middle of the Mediterranean, do you really think that someone's going to be hanging around? No. But you know what? Who cares? Who cares? I don't care. I mean, as long as it's, you know, it's not derogatory to other people or hurt other people, I don't care what they say of my body, but just don't follow me around.
Yeah. Good luck. Don't stay away too long.
I won't.
We'll keep a welcome for you, lady.
In the hillsides.
We'll do that. Catherine Zeta-Jones. Lovely, Catherine.